everyone, welcome back to Pobby and Alls. Hope we're all doing absolutely epically. We're doing the player reviews. We're going to do them in batches in 10, which means we can smash them out, have a little bit of discussion. We're just going to do it really nicely in the terms of we're going to just talk about what I've got in the votes, which will end in the Pommy Best and Fairest. So if you're a sharp-eyed, keen observer, you'll be able to work out who wins it when we do their numbers, won't we? But anyway, let's get into it. But first of all, please smash that like, please smash that subscribe button. The season is still on. We did set a huge challenge to road to 3,000. So if you can do that, there's going to be loads of content in the off-season. I won't go anywhere. We'll still be doing 3 videos, as always, and some lives as well. We've got all sorts coming up, some exciting announcements to come, and you can become a member of the channel. So please do that if you want to. Link is in the description. Really does help support the channel. We do some wonderful stuff. We try and give back to the community. That being said, let's get into it. And we start with Mr. Jack Silvani, who played the 21 games this year. Probably his best game was probably, if you think about it, it would be either the Hawthorn game where he was in about everything, kicking the 3 goals. And I really enjoyed the GWS game in round 9, that big 2-goal, 20-touch game where he was really everywhere. But this guy has been like really the jack of all trades, pardon the pun, hasn't he? I would say probably Carlton's most underrated player this year, because this guy really, for me, nails what playing for this football club is about. He had his PBs in a lot of areas this year as well. Clearances, he had them in marks, in the highest average for him as well, in kicking efficiency at parts of the year as well. Really started to up that ante. And I really enjoyed Jack's game. For me, with the injuries we've had and stuff, Jack really has been a staple. And I think what is really underrated about Jack is the fact that he'll put his hands up and play. No matter what happens, he will always do it. In the Pommy B and F, JSOS polled 12 votes. And I think that really shows you he had them sporadically as well throughout the year, which is huge for Jack. And I'm a big fan of what he brings. I think when you create a list, you have to have your JSOSs on your list, a guy that will go anywhere. And I really enjoyed it. And he didn't play his favoured position so much this year. And he fought amiably. And I think a big part of Carlton's improvement is down to people like that, because I think it would have been a shitload worse if we didn't have Jack Silvani. So I'm going to give Jack Silvani's year a really solid 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed it. I'm going to do 5 is just enough. 6 is where the average is. But I just think, given the fact that he played so many positions, it'd be impossible to be harsh on him. And I really enjoyed his game. Like, I've got to say it. I really did. I thought Jack really fought hard at the contest. And for me, he did it. Do you know what I mean? He did it. He was just under a goal a game, and he had to do things that he's not designed for. So really well done, Jack. Big raps on him. One of my favourite players. Then we come to Paddy Dow. Now, Paddy Dow's a tough one, isn't he? 4 games, 8.5 touches. But if you actually do it in real life, he was an unused sub twice, so you can't count that. But it left me wanting more. Do you know what I mean? Because he averaged the 17 touches, if you actually count it properly. Do you know what I mean? Which is roughly around the mark that we get from him. But then you take his VFL form into account, and his VFL form's splendid. 28.4 touches, 3.2 tackles, 8 clearances, a goal a game. It's a tough one with Dow, because Carlton have recruited so heavily in that midfield that he just ain't breaking into it. And there's the talk that he wants to stay, and I love that. I love that. I want to see that fight from him. And he's out of contract next year, and I look at him and I think, you know what? If you can do what Kennedy, Setterfield, O'Brien, Players like that, who this time last year, McGovern, Williams, people were saying get rid of them. All them people were saying get rid of them. He's in the crosshairs now from the fans. And I've been a big critic of him. And the reason that I'm so critical of him, and it's not harsh, is because I know he's so good. I know if he can reach the levels that Paddy Dow can do, what an acquisition. If Dow can do, and it's a big if, right? I'm not saying he can. Well, actually, I am. He can do it because he's not there by luck. If he can, though, reach some kind of them VFL levels in the AFL, that midfield is scary, and it already is scary. Do I think he can do it, though? I think the odds are stacked against him, massively stacked against him. However, that being said, very, very solid year, and he's doing what he can. He's doing what he can. He can't do much more. A few areas of the game I want him to improve, maybe tidy up that disposal efficiency. He has a huge habit of just handballing up in the air and rushing the disposal. If he can kind of iron that out, there is a chance. Do I want him traded? If the value is right, yes. I think it would be negligent of the football club not to do it. But that being said, if you don't get the value that you need, what is the harm in keeping him around for a year? And if he can go up a level, wow. AFL year, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10. I'm going to give him a 10 out of 10 for VFL there. So I'll give him a 5 out of 10 because I didn't really expect him into the team. And I think what he's played, in my opinion, is a fair assessment of how his year's gone. So 5 out of 10 for Paddy. And you know what? If you're sticking around, kid, best of luck, because, do you know what I mean? Regardless of what people say about you, fuck, if you can go off, get in the team. Jesse Motlop up next, and I really enjoyed this kid. Really enjoyed it. We talked a lot about him in the preseason, the 12 games. Really, I think, cemented his position in the team. And I have a little caveat with this guy, and we'll talk about Durden. I do worry that Carlton are putting way too much focus at times on his tackling inside 50. And I'm going to give you a caveat here. You look at the top teams, tackling inside 50, we talk about it an awful lot, is incredibly, incredibly important. It really is incredibly important. However, you can't take away the player's natural instinct to kick snags, is my argument on that. Now, finished second in our tackle inside 50 count, just behind average per game, Matty Owens. Phenomenal from Jesse, really killing it. We haven't had them kind of numbers since Josh DeLuca, and he was our leading average tackle inside 50 a couple of years ago. It's something that is a huge input, but what I'm really enjoying, ranked 7th in goals per game from the young kids, 1 goal a game. There's something there, and if he can get it going, boy, oh boy, he could be quite the find. I really enjoyed what Jesse Motlop brought. He was one of the joys this season. I've enjoyed what he is. Sneaky, starting to add the layers as well, especially if you watch the VFL at the start of the year. The layers he's added is tremendous. Tremendous. And I'm very, very impressed. I'm very excited about where this can go, because if this is just the base year, could be good. So Jesse Motlop, did he poll this year? He did. So obviously Dow didn't. About 5 votes throughout the year this year, which is very impressive for Mr. Jesse. He's got a game to do as well in the VFL, so he's going to gain a bit of experience in that, playing in one-off matches, which is super important. So one to watch in the VFL. And I think he'll have a brilliant year next year. I'm really excited. And what I want from Jesse next year is very important. Jesse needs to start looking at really getting that up. So we have the 12 goals this year, a goal a game. We can get 20, 25 goals out of him. Schmick, we're going to be there. But great start for Jesse. 7 out of 10 for me. Really enjoyed it. So excellent work, Jesse. Can't wait to see what you bring next year. Lachie OBrien. Oh, good Lord. Is there anyone at the Carlton Football Club who is better equipped to divide us? Oh, Lachie OBrien, let's talk about him. Some season highlights for him. Obviously, that Doggies game round 2, 25 touches, 6 marks. You really started to see what potentially Lachie OBrien could do. Ended the season with just under 18 touches, 5 marks, was really used as that outlet coming from there. Now, a lot of people will look at Lachie OBrien and he cops the flack, man. He cops the flack. He really does. And not many people out there can tell me he isn't probably the harshest judged Carlton player. Finished 5th in our meters gained, which is a big key component of what you're looking for from someone like him. You really are looking at it. But he kept on battling. Definitely a good level for me. Good level. If this is the worst we can get from Lachie OBrien, happy days, because this has to be the bare minimum. Setting PBs in a lot of areas as well, tackles. He had them 2 goals against Freo as well, where he really did showcase what good wing work had. Got to remember, though, that Voss uses the wings a lot, so this was really the year that you expect him to break out. With Blake Acres coming in, I don't think that's a problem for Lachie OBrien because he wasn't the defensive wingman. The form of Cottrell, though, will worry him. And you saw the difference in the intensity and the output of someone like Cottrell, who is a lot more offensive in his craft. Decent year, though. Decent year, I've got to say. It was decent. It's a definite, for me, a 6 out of 10 for him. Ranked above average for score involvements, goal assists, which is what we want to see from him. There's a lot more to come from him, but it was a solid 6 out of 10. As for the Pommy votes, he caught my attention in them periods. We talked about 3 votes. A lot of work to do for him, but the signs were good. Signs were good for him, and long may it continue. Long may it continue. Adam Cerra up next, our big, well, I wouldn't say big money recruit, but definitely our big recruit in the off-season. Probably big money recruit, but obviously finished the season pretty strong. Round 17, he obviously had them 27 touches. He was phenomenal against Collingwood with the 2 goals and the 27 touches again. There's something about him, isn't there? Particularly towards the last couple of games. He started well and finished well, and then kind of had a higgledy-piggledy middle half, didn't he, Adam Cerra? It's a tough one, isn't it? Because you see the class, 23 touches. It's hard to stand out in that midfield because there's a lot of talent. The 4 clearances, he found his feet. I like what I see from Adam Cerra. It wasn't the Fremantle Cerra that we were expecting. It was towards the end. Fought hard, held his place, it has to be said. No one can have any qualms about Adam Cerra because his output was good. The 18 games as well, he was really strong. Never really totally bad, if you know what I mean. It was just average. So I'm going to give him a 6 out of 10 again. This is what I'd expect from Adam Cerra consistently across the board. I want a bit more, though. I want a bit more. There's another level to go. But as starts go, it's a solid start. But there's no doubt about the kid's class. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. The 9 games for this fella, Zachy Williams. Great surname. Round 4, we started to see, didn't we, what it was about. Them 36 touches. Looking sharp. Came out of the blocks. Them first 4 games even 5 games. He was flying, wasn't he? He was looking the part this year, tearing it up. So, I mean, after round 1, I mean, he went 27, 36, 24 touches. He was in just about everything. Then he obviously had them injuries, as we know. Came back round 23. And it was a solid finish as well. Round 23, you saw what he was missing. It's a tough one, this with Zachy, isn't it? Because Cerra polled the 8 votes. Williams didn't poll. But this is one of them what-ifs with Zach Williams, isn't it? Because if he can stay fit, shit the bed, he's a good footballer. Good footballer. He uses it well. Do you know what I mean? He takes the game on as well. Ranked 3rd for bounces per game and total bounces, even with 9. He's in the top 20. was a big rebounder, really good on the transition as well. Right, I'm going to give him, purely because of the injury, and I think you've got to be harsh, has to be a 4 out of 10 because we need him fit. And that's harsh on him because if them 9 games were 22, we're talking 6, 7 games. We're talking 6 or 7 out of 10, maybe more. But he has to stay fit. So integral to the system. You saw the difference in transitional patterns when he was there, particularly in the first 5 rounds, particularly the last round as well. You saw what kind of threat he is and what he's about. But I need so much more from him. And it's now the stage where we don't start talking about what ifs. We start talking about what we knows. And what we know is he's a very, very accomplished footballer. But please, for heaven's sake, stay fit. That's all I ask. Then we go to Matty Kennedy, and this is a guy who was really, really impressed us, particularly started the season well, do you know what I mean? 33, averaging over 30 touches. He was just one of them players that was around all the time. Won his 17 games. The player that we lost every time he wasn't named. And the perfect foil to that midfield. I have enjoyed everything Matt Kennedy brings because I'm a firm believer, and I've said this for a long time, that you can have all the all-stars in the world, but the most important part of any side is the 6 out of 10 footballers, the 7 out of 10 footballers who just graft, the grafters. 4 tackles, just under 5 clearances, 4 inside 50s, just under 2 rebounds. He worked both hard. He's worked incredibly hard on his fitness. Then that Essendon game, I really enjoyed. That 24 touches, 8 marks. He was just a stopgap, a little physical beast. The opening game against Richmond, he was a big part of the turnaround. You're starting to see what he's about, and I am a big fan of him. It's an 8 out of 10. It's an 8 out of 10 for me with Kennedy. I really enjoyed it. He polled as well, 9 votes in the POM Best and Fairest. I'm a big fan of what he brings. And long may it continue because I think we found something there. And there's the model there for Dow. He hasn't improved dramatically from when we've got him. It's just them 1%ers. And want you to go back to the British Olympic team, cycling. They are judged. You improve 1% across all the metrics, you win gold medals. And that's what he did. And love him. I love him. Who have we got next? We got Lachie Fogarty. Tell you what, Lachie only played the 3 games for the seniors. Most of them were bit parts. He did come on very late against the Tigers, I believe, from memory. Did play round 4, round 2. Not really much to write home about because he was kind of just a cab in the rank, wasn't he? VFL form, maybe more to go on. Very impressive in the VFL, 24 touches, 6 tackles, just a tackling beast, 5 clearances, absolutely smashes it. Real good foil for Mr. Dow. Likes to pop up as well in the forward half of the ground for the seniors, but in the VFL, he's more in the middle, playing that like that Hewitt role. It's a 3 out of 10 for the seniors. He hasn't really been judged, and when he did come on, I wasn't really impressed. Do you know what I mean? When he has played. VFL, it would be a 6 out of 10. It's definitely what I expect from a man of his caliber. A man really that Carlton needs to think, if you're keeping Setterfield around and players like that, is he needed? For me. And it might be harsh, but you've got to start making these harsh list decisions. Are you keeping people on the list purely as backup? Or are you going to keep people on the list with backup with purpose? And I don't think there's a ceiling for Fogarty. I think VFL is his level. And I like the kid. I just have gone to be brutally honest. So, not a great year, but, you know, he did enough. Our captain, fantastic. And Cripper doing Cripper tings. Do you know what I mean? Top 5 for handballs. Top 5 for clearances. Top 20 for score involvements. There's a new one. Top 3 for clearances. Top 3 for stoppage clearances. Just everything about him, isn't he? Top 15 for effective disposals as well. Total. That the round 20, 41 touches. The start where he's probably leading the back Brownlow by the bye. Cripper polled 42 POM votes. A goal again, 5 tackles. It's Cripper doing Cripper things. Do you know what I mean? Played every game available to him, bar one. What can you say about Patrick Cripps? It was a very, very, very good year for Mr. Patrick Cripps, and we can't fault him, can we? Really? 9 out of 10. Maybe 10 if he gets the Brownlow. I don't think he will, but real solid year. And we're starting to see that leadership from him as well. A few scenes of him putting his arm around players, pulling them into line. There was the physicality. There's the other layers to the game. Crippers has found his place, and it's exciting for Carlton fans far and wide. I'm very excited, and I think there's more to come. That's why I'm giving him a 9. There's a 10 coming. When you see a 10, it's there. But I really enjoyed his game. It was consistent throughout. He may have had what some people got on his case because he had some quiet games, but did he? He was always involved. Stepped up to the plate many times this year. Very lucky to have him. I won't have a bad word said about him. Well done, Cripps, mate. Well done. And we finished with Harry, the former reigning Coleman medalist. Again, though, finished top 14 in total goals, top 10 marks inside 50, top 3 contested marks. It's what you expect from him. He had some really good games, didn't he? The round 17, he took Eagles to the sword. Pinch hit in the ruck. We saw that against GWS. That was a good game for him. But I'm enjoying what I'm seeing. I'm really enjoying the fact that he laid a lot of tackles inside 50 this year. You really saw it. Wasn't his greatest year, 19 games. He did miss he missed 3, but tell you what, if we can get them 2 firing, just imagine what we could do. Imagine what we could do at this football club if we could do it. 45 goals this year from him, 64, so 109 between them. There's something exciting brewing there. Something exciting. And they started to get a bit of synergy. They really did start to get a bit of synergy. I'm going to give him a 7 out of 10. 7 out of 10. I think there's more. He polled as well. He got the 7 votes. If we can just get that... I think Blake Acres isn't the answer to that problem, but if Carlton can refine their inside 50 movement, Jesus Christ, that forward line could be good. It's good already, but it could be special. But yeah, Harry, solid year and more to come, I think. I really do think. I think another year. I think it took Cameron and Hawkins probably 2 seasons to really perfect what they have now. I expect to see that next year from these two. And look out. Big fan of Harry. More of a fan of Charlie, though, I'm going to be honest. But there they are then. Let me know what you thought. We've had a bit of a long one today. Let me know in the comments. Like I say, smash that like button. Please stick around. We're going to have lots of off-season content. But until next time.